Hey bookworms! We are getting ready to start our summer weekly whimsies today. I'm very excited. Welcome to the new members. I hope you guys loved your box. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear some feedback about what you think with the new subscription. So today we are going to do our bag of coins in honor of all of the stories that have to do with Robin Hood. So if you noticed in your subscription box this time, I didn't include the carbon paper because we didn't have the main, the other type of projects that we've had in the past with the carbon paper. So we're going to use the pencil transfer, which you can see I've already mostly done. And all you do is just take a regular pencil and you just scribble in a bunch of different directions on the back of your paper over and over and over again until it looks like something like this. So we've got that side and this side. Okay. So then what you do is you put your, this is our Weekly Whimsy book that came in your subscription box, just with our good quality watercolor paper, or decent quality. It's not super expensive, right? So it's all about the fun of it. All right, and then you could take some tape, painter's tape, or this is the washi tape. I'm going to take a little bit of sticky off by sticking it on my shorts. And then I'm going to get that sort of centered. Let's see. Press that down real nice. And then that will keep that in place for me as I trace this on. So then what you'll do is you'll take your same pencil. I'm going to sharpen mine just a tiny bit. There we go. So go look. You don't want it super sharp because you're not trying to tear through the paper. But I am going to, like a medium pressure, trace this. And this will get my tracer right on the paper for me. And the cool thing about doing this technique versus the carbon paper is I feel like it's so much easier to fix mistakes. The carbon paper, sometimes you can get it to erase, and other times, depending on how hard I pressed, I have trouble. So let's pick that up so I can show you. Hopefully you can see on there that we've got the trace, and it's a nice lightweight trace. And then we're gonna get our coins on here. So going forward after this one, I'm not gonna trace everyone. You'll just know this is how I did it. Just doing this as a refresh for some of you that are newer to the group. We've done this in the past, but we haven't done it in a while. We used mainly the carbon paper every time last time. But this is a fun way to get a transfer without needing carbon paper. Okay. I have already started reading my book. I wanted to get a tiny bit ahead, and I am liking this one a lot better than Last of the Mohicans. Hopefully you guys feel the same way. There's a lot of action in it, and it's much easier to follow along. There was a lot of action in Last of the Mohicans too, but I don't know. That one I struggled with. I know a lot of you guys did too. Which, who would have thought the American writer would have been the harder one that we've done so far. Okay, look how good that looks. Hopefully you guys can see that. Looks like I missed some down in here. And I missed this guy here. Alright, so let's see. I might not have taken my tracer all the way down. Nope, I don't think I did. Oof, that's dark. I'm like used to pushing too hard now. Hold on. Too much, too much. There we go. That's better. Okay, so let me pull this up. I'm going to keep this right here for my reference. And then if you have some sketch pens or even like a thin Sharpie, something that's not going to bleed real easily, so one of these types of things here, we're going to sketch in, because I want to sort of get it similar. So let's see, which one am I using here? I want to get it similar to this guy here. This is the 3, I've got the 5, and then this is my 0.5. I just purchased these though. Oh, that's my 1. Let's go to my 1, I think. So these have the different size tips on them. So I want to do a similar sketchy look that's going on there. So the trick to that is not sort of like not combining and pressing hard with all of your pen lines. Sorry, you guys know I have trouble thinking when I'm creating. Okay. So you can see I've like broken pieces through here as far as like the line's not solid. And so I'm gonna get all of this on here. And the cool thing again, like I said with the pencil, is that it's easy to erase. So I'm going to be doing that here in just a minute. Get this stuff out of my way. It's good to have some new pens. My other sketch pens were rough. Just bought these the other day. I'd had those other ones for a really long time, so it's all right. And the cool thing is these don't have to be perfect because this is, so Robin Hood takes place a very long time ago. From my research, it looks like they're not even sure who wrote the original Robin Hood or where the original story came from. And a lot of people have rewrote it, and then we're just reading one of the versions. Most people believe he was a real person and that he helped people, but they, from what I read, they believe that probably a lot of it was, you know, fantasized a little further than what he was. But regardless, he made an impression on a lot of people for there to be that many stories of him. Similar to King Arthur, I would say, right? There's a whole lot of tales and things about him as well. But where I was going, this was made such a long time ago. This story is such an old story that your coins do not need to be even and perfect like ours are today, because they're all probably like hand done, right? So in different amounts. So no worries if they're not all perfect. And I'm going sort of rogue from my stencil there. Okay, so let me pull this back down. I got my little tape there to help me keep this centered for you guys as I record it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to I have a bigger eraser here. I'm going to erase those pencil lines. And I've got my paper towel here. I'm going to wipe off that. And then before we get going too far, I do want to tell you, we've got acrylic paint is what we're using today. I'm going to use some of my small brushes. So whatever small brushes you have at home, definitely grab those. I typically use these two the most. Got like my round number 5 here. And then my flat, I can't remember what this one was called. Let me see if I've got another here. Hold on. No, number 8, flat number 8. I've got a couple versions of these. So anyway, these are the ones I will be using mostly as we go along. You'll see that. Let me switch to some of my nicer, newer ones. And then I've got red acrylic, white acrylic, a dark brown acrylic, and a gold acrylic. And we're going to mainly water those down. You know how I like to do, make them more translucent. Okay. So you can see, I'm just going to sort of wing this where you're very, very sketchy, real light strokes. This is called cross hatching, where you make like crosses, like crisscrosses. And you can see from the original, it's got a lot of lines. It's going upward. And that's why, so you can definitely use some watercolor if you want. This would work great with this as well. I'm going to use my acrylic light watercolor. Okay. And then through here it's really dark. So you can start to see where it creates like almost like a shadow, right? For the cross hatching. Okay, those look cool. And then we want the lines around the coins. So on the edges of the coins, you'll just do little lines. If for some reason you don't have one of these sketch pens or you don't have a thin Sharpie, like I have the permanent, I would wait to leave your pencil markings, go ahead and do your paint, and then in the end use just an ink pen to do what we're doing here. But an ink pen is going to bleed on you a little bit, most likely. So I would paint first instead of doing what we're doing. So there's definitely an option to do that too. Okay. I am not going to put a whole lot more. I'll do a little bit. Just a little bit of darken up some of these spaces between the coins a little bit. There we go. A little bit of cross hatching here and there. Okay, I like it. And then I'm gonna grab my number 8, my flat brush. And you know what? I forgot water. Let me grab some water. And I've got my paper towel here to dip. So I'm gonna dip my brush onto the paper towel to get some of that off so it's not too wet. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of this brown. You can see I'm gonna use a decent amount of water because I want it to water it down. And then you guys know how I like to go around the edges first. So you can see that's looking just like a watercolor paint. That's why I love acrylics, is they're easy to, very versatile, I guess, easy to use. And they're easy to fix if you don't like something too. And then this is just water, and I'm using that to pull the color through. You can see it's starting to get more diluted as we go. And then we're going to go back into this side. And you can see it's not perfectly even. I'm going to leave some of those white places and spaces. And then I'm going to use a little bit thicker acrylic down through here to darken that up. It's already wet. And then I'm dabbing, it sort of makes it look a little dirty. And then I'm going to do the same thing up here on the top. So for the newbies in the group, we do this once a week where we do our weekly whimsies. This is typically I post them on Wednesdays unless something crazy happens in my life. And then this is just a way to like stay consistent, and I definitely encourage you all to be sharing. It's part of the fun of it. And then just seeing everybody, and I have noticed a lot of you, all of you actually that have been in my group this past quarter and prior have like improved I noticed your techniques have gotten so much better, and it just looks so much smoother. It's really cool to see you guys like improve just with that little bit of extra time you take each week just to do a little mini painting. It's so cool what it's done for all of you guys, and I really hope you guys are enjoying the time that we are doing this together. And then it's like adding a little bit of stress relief in your life. Let's see, I'm gonna use straight brown. So I've got switched to my thin brush, and I'm just using the straight brown. I didn't water it down this time for the string. It's tying the money bag. Okay. And then I rinse my round brush out. I'm gonna dip into my gold, and I'm gonna just go over all of this down here. And then I'll go back and put some depth in here in a minute. Probably with the brown, actually. Actually, I'll need to see. Let me see if I have another color I want to use. I might do the brown, I don't know. If I have like a bronze or something, I might use that. Let me see if I have other metallic. Yeah, I do have a bronze. If you have a bronze, you can do that. If you've got a brown, that would definitely work too. I'm just gonna put, oof, that's a lot. I'm gonna put a little more color into the coins on the edges. Like that. You guys probably can't see the metallic as well on the video, but it looks neat. No worries if you don't have it though, use what you got at home. Some of you I know are like me and just like to hoard supplies. All right. And then the last thing I was gonna do is just give it sort of a red washed background. So I've got my red here, rinse my brush out. I'm gonna use some water to get it sort of a diluted, watery, and then I'm gonna go just right around. Put some water on my brush and then sort of just pull that outward. It's cool, it makes it pop. All right, a little more red. So you've got to work in sections a little bit because you don't want the area around the picture to dry down too much to where you can't move it around. So you can see I just did the one side of the money bag. Okay. So you just keep working around this way. And almost like tracing your money bag. So you can see right in there, I let it dry a little bit, so I've got to like work it around a little bit, try to get the line look away. I want it real diffused looking. All right, so down here, I'm still gonna use the red, but I'm probably gonna, I think I'm gonna add a little brown into it to make it look like a shadow almost. Down here underneath the money bag and the coins. So I'm going in with just the red right now. You can see it's pretty dark. I'm okay with it being darker down here. Because again, I want it to be more of a shadow. So I'm going to get this on here first. I think I'm going to use brown. But you know, I like to wing these things. Especially the Weekly Whimsies. That's sort of the fun of them. It's not something, not some masterpiece, right? It's just for fun. All right, actually I might just do that. Let's see. Definitely deeper like I was wanting. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna add the brown. I do like how dark that red is down there. Add a little more red. Right through here. Sort of symbolic of, you know, the lifeblood that they're taking from the people, right? By putting them under their thumb and not giving them the things they need and letting them starve. There we go. So I've got the red around all the coins and the money, all the representation of our story and what we're going to get into. Yeah, I like that. I like just the red. Okay. I like it. That's fun. I'm going to pull it up so you guys can see it a little better. Let's see. I have to like make sure I keep it in the frame. There we go. Isn't that cool? So there is our first summer Weekly Whimsy for our adventure. Oh, and I forgot. I did put red out, or white out. I did want to use that. So let me rinse my brush really quick. Let me show you. I'm going to just do a little bit of highlight. I can't believe I forgot that. Right on the coins. So I'm just going to touch a lot of these to give it a little bit of a highlight. I really don't need to do this. I'm going to do the same thing with the bag. Give myself some highlight here and there. And I've left already some highlight because of the way I painted, so. But I did want to add a little bit. I almost always use white. There we go. And that's it. All right, now let me pull it back up. See, it's not a lot, just a little extra. All right, you guys, I'm excited to see yours. I hope you are enjoying and excited about the new story we're going to read for the summer. And I will talk to you all soon, and I'm excited to see your weekly whimsies. And I love all the final projects and everything coming in right before we started this. It was nice to see everything. Thanks for posting, guys. Talk to you soon.